titled Outrigger Canoeing 101. Tom will be covering the basics of outrigger canoeing. Please welcome Tom.
Good evening. I've gotten into our canoe canoeing this year. I've been doing it since about March, and I've been having a blast. It's fun, it's invigorating, it's easy, and yet really hard. You can do it if you have mobility issues, because it's low impact, you're actually sitting down in the boat. As long as you can do this, you can row the boat. If you have problems walking, that's fine. You don't need to stand up. In fact, we're recommending against it. It's easier to hoolie the boat, which is flipping it over. I'll tell you more about that later. First of all, I want to let you know, on your tables you're going to find a sheet of paper that has these pictures on it. This one is the one I want you mostly looking at. This is a boat similar to what I've been used to rowing in. It's a 6-person boat known as OC6. This one is on there just because it's a little bit clearer to see some of the Hawaiian words, just in case you get a little bit lost. I don't know what they all mean. I don't know how to pronounce most of them, but I know how to pronounce a couple of them. The main one we're looking at here is we have 6 seats in the boat. From the bow it's 1, second seat 2, center seat 3, fourth seat is 4, 5, and 6. Then you have the Aku here, which is, the Aku is actually the outrigger, and then the Ama is the actual little float out here. So all these seats have a different job. Seat 1 is in the front of the boat, and they're the stroker. They set the pace. So if they go slower, everyone else slows down. If they go faster, everybody else goes faster. Seat 2, seat 1 is also the most lonely because there's no one else in front of you. If you get out of step, there's no one else to catch up. So you have to have a really good sense of rhythm up there. So you can't go really fast and slow down, and really, really fast and slow down. It just doesn't work. You have to have that constant, steady, like this, all the time. Seat 2 encourages seat 1. They actually paddle on the opposite side of the boat. Seat 1 is here, seat 2 is over here. Because as the boat goes down, as you go down the boat, each one, you alternate sides. Then later on you switch. I'll talk more about that later. Seat 3, they call. Every 10 to 15 strokes, you change. You change sides. There's a call. You go, putt. That's the call to take one more stroke. You take that first stroke, everyone else says, ho. You ho, you switch sides. That way everyone's timing is the same. Because you don't have everybody on one side or the other side. It can make you hoolie or flip over. You don't want to do that because you get wet. And then there's a whole other issue. You have to flip the boat over and get people in, get people bailing. I'll tell you more about that in a bit. Seat 4. Seat 2 and 4 have a job. They're on the same side. They also watch the Ama because it can go pop up and down. If it pops too high, over you go. Seat 5, pretty easy job. You just sit there, you help out the steersman, and if the steersman is not doing his job, you say, hey, work back there, because the steersman likes to sit back there, put his feet up if it's a nice, easy day. Seat 6 is a steersman. He steers the boat. He encourages the crews, they need to call changes, or if they need to go on quiet to try to sneak up another boat during a race, they do that too. I digressed a little bit here. Races, there's 2 main types of races. There's distance races. In Hawaii, they do island to island races. They change out people in there. There's some that are just long distance, so you have to have the stamina to keep paddling. There's also sprint races. Shorter distance, a lot more speed, a lot more energy in a short time period. Obviously, there's a difference, different kind of conditioning for each one. I'm still doing recreational. I'm hoping next spring to do more, some actual races. Let's go to the paddles here. See, This is the standard paddle that we use. This is what's called a single bend paddle. You actually have it forward in the water. You hold it like this so the paddle bends forward toward the bow of the boat. You don't want to have it down like this. You want to have it toward the bow, not toward the stern. This is rice scooping. You don't get any power, and this is actually the weak side of the blade. You can actually damage the blade by doing that. This is all. You can also look at the shape. It's kind of this is what's known as a double bend. Essentially the same paddle. It just bends here. It has two bends. It has one at the paddle and then one on the handle. What's the difference, you ask? Really isn't any. They both work the same. They both behave the same. It really comes down to what type of paddle do you like better. This is an old wood one. This one has a little bit of carbon fiber just for extra strength. Some of them don't have that. This is a partial carbon fiber. There again. This wrap, somebody added this later for comfort. I've actually used this paddle. It helps your grip when the blade gets wet. This is a steering paddle. There again, they come in single bend, and they also have double bend as well. If you look at the size of this paddle versus this one, it's much larger. It's a longer blade, because when you're on the back, you not only paddle, but you have to what's called poking to, I've not steered, so just a little bit from what I've learned. To help turn the boat, you don't want to do it too much because you can flip the boat. The stroke. I'm sure you're all wondering what the stroke looks like. I'm going to see if I can get a space here so everyone can see. It's difficult to do standing up. I'll try. If not, I'll have to grab a chair. Can everyone see this okay? If you need to, come on up. Basically, when you're sitting down, you put the foot forward that you want to start paddling. You lean forward, you put the blade in the water, you pull back to about where your leg is, about to your knee. You don't want to pull too far back because that actually pulls the boat down. Reach in, come all the way back, come out of the water, twist the blade, go forwards, reset, paddle again. I'm still getting used to this whole flip. It's not necessary, but when you're racing in high winds, the wind can grab the blade and pull it back. Also, you have to when you're paddling, you have to adjust, because if you're in waves, sometimes you don't have to come down so far, you have to go way farther. It's very much a core and leg and upper body. You don't want to sit here and paddle like this like you would be in a lake. That's mostly shoulders and arms, and those are weaker muscles. The core and the legs are much stronger. So you want to keep and use those. Moving on. Going to the hoolie. That's when as I said, that's when the boat flips over. There again, you're in the water. You don't want to try to jump out of the boat as the boat goes over, because the alma can hit you, knock you out. Then really bad things happen. When you're in the water, the first thing you want to do is call out your seat number when you come up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That way everyone else knows, everyone's accounted for and is okay. Seat 1 and seat 6 go to the bow and stern of the boat and turn it into the wind. Seat 2 and 4 get on these little spikes sticking out on the other side of the ayakus. You want to stand on those, and you reach across the boat and grab the yakus, so when you go and flip it, you lean back and pop the boat over. Seat 3 sits there and helps push the yama over. Seat 5 collects the paddles, so that way when you come back over, they're not floating all over the place. And then first thing you want to do is get the lightest, smallest person you can, get them into the boat, and they start bailing like crazy, because the sooner you get that water out, the sooner everyone else can get back in. Because especially out here in the bay, everyone knows the water is cold, and no one wants to be out there in the water. when around here, I wear this, a life jacket. You see lots of different styles. This one is actually a less expensive one, but it's designed for canoeing and kayaking. It gives me lots of flexibility, which I want because I'm doing a lot of this, obviously. But you don't want some of those really cheap orange ones that roll up around the neck, because you just can't turn and move very well. So you definitely want that. And if anyone's interested, let me know. I can get you hooked up with our club. It's a lot of fun. So now you know the basic one-on-one of outrigger canoeing, and you're ready to go out in the water and try out this blasting, fun activity for yourself. Thank you.